Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Angel. I'm your co-host here with Bill Dean, your host for our show called Bold Real Estate Investing. Bill, hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, man. It's our first episode. We're going to talk about investing. I love it. This is such an important topic because I think a lot of people think about real estate investing, but there's a lot of people who've thought about it that actually haven't pulled the trigger. So I'm excited to pick your brain and have you help a lot of people forward in their real estate investing ventures. So I thought we could start with just some backstory so people kind of know who you are and how you came to the world of real estate investing.
All right. Well, I think I fit in with a lot of people that, what do I want to do with myself? And ran off to college and had an interest in theology, philosophy, and business and music. And so I started in all these different streams and thought, eventually I'll pick one. Well, 4 years later, I have a theology, philosophy degree, a liberal arts business degree, and a music minor.
Wow.
And it's like, well, what do I do with this?
What do you do with that? Yeah.
So because I didn't want to start a Christian music store or a cult, I decided head off into sales.
Right. There you go. Yeah. That's perfect. So how old were you when you got into sales?
Probably 22.
Okay. Right out of college then.
Yep.
And what did you go do sales in?
Well, my very, very first job was with selling knives.
Okay. Like Cutco or?
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
So I went and did that. I hit my $10,000 in 10 days and paid for a trip to Europe and then came back and was like, well, I think I want more commas.
Yeah. Nice.
So that took me to remodeling homes.
So like you actually would you buy a home and remodel it or?
No, actually I would just go out and design and bid. So I started with windows, then I went to doors, then got to roofs, siding.
Wow.
And eventually ended up designing kitchens and bathrooms.
Did you do the work or did you hire out the work with subs?
Nope. Actually, that was all built up for me for the company I worked with. I did the designing, figured out all the colors, the styles.
Wow.
Got the contract signed, and then we had crews that they could just show up with the product.
Wait, did you have that background also? Like you didn't list that in your college experiences like design. Were you a designer too?
No, it's
you just taught yourself along the way.
Yep. lots of YouTube and learning the hard way, designing things that were like, ooh, you probably can't open your dishwasher and your oven at the same time with this layout.
Oops. Yeah, right. Yes, I have so many of those stories. Man, I love YouTube for that reason. Like so many ways you could teach yourself. Okay, got it. So you did sales. You sold all these things connected to a house. And how long did you do that until you moved on?
I did that for 5 years.
No
I
kidding.
ended up managing my office for the last 3 and had success with that. So,
wow, amazing.
Really know something when you actually have to start teaching it, and that's where I really put my knowledge to the test. And I had a group of at max about 8 different guys I was sending out daily to go do bids and earn business.
So you were teaching the bid side of things to your sales team?
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. So all from the product to the warranty information to how to sell, how to hit hot buttons and closing techniques and how to overcome objections to earn their business that day.
Were you also teaching the design stuff to anybody on your team?
Yeah. I mean, there are certain rules and just rules of thumb for like bathrooms as far as got to identify the plumbing, moisture issues, sheetrock that needs to be repaired, kind of what's, and designing it all together so you don't have brushed nickel faucets and an oil rub bronze shower head and
the details.
So,
wow, you got so much exposure to a lot of houses, I would imagine, in 5 years of remodels. Like,
yes,
you had a lot of at bats.
Oh yes.
That's amazing.
Probably over 2,000 easily.
Wow. That's invaluable. So you did that for 5 years and then what?
Started into real estate consulting and home security, commercial security.
What's the consulting? What do you mean? Like,
so during that time, from my second year on, I started taking real estate investing courses around the country.
Okay.
And I learned so many different things, from leases to contract for deeds to option contracts to creative financing, that I was implementing myself as I started investing in real estate, that
Wow.
I was like, well, there's no reason I can't help other people use this too, because
Right.
I could only invest what I was earning. And so other people had money, and there's a lot of things that we don't know you can do.
Right.
So I started doing that on the side, but then my full-time gig was doing kind of like a Vivint, if you've ever heard of that, or
Yeah, it's the home security, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So alarms, camera systems, and all that. So I got into more homes.
But what was the consulting? You did real estate consulting for other people around financing, or?
It was mostly if a friend or another investor was like, hey, I really want to get this house, but I don't have 20% down or 25% down. Well, hey, have you thought of doing this or doing that? Or
got it. Cool.
So yeah, but that kind of fizzled out because it's easy to take the paycheck that's guaranteed.
Right. Yeah. I hear you. Sometimes people undervalue information, especially in an information age. They're like, they think they can do it themselves or whatever. But I could tell you it's, especially hearing like how many at-bats you've had with real estate. Like, I'm learning as I get older that it's so invaluable to find somebody who has had the experience and just get their advice. Like, just let them coach you instead of trying to like figure it out yourself. You'll save so much time.
Yes. And money.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. So you did some consulting and then you got into home security systems, and then what?
That, with that company, I really helped build their marketing. Yeah. So I was a salesman for them, but when I started, they didn't even have a price guide. The owner was pretty much doing his own bids, was like, oh, I pay X, so I think we should charge Y. So I designed it so that so that the prices were fixed. He started narrowing down the numbers of costs. And when I left there, it was all laid out in essence, where as costs went up, you could adjust the numbers, but there was a base, there was a multiplier, there was formulas. We knew kind of what times were to do projects. So, I mean, it was nice to say that it was under a $300,000 company, and in 18 months we were over 900 some thousand.
Whoa. Wow.
So it was a good turnaround, but it got to the point where there wasn't anything. It was just kind of repeating the sales process. And I enjoy building and creating things. So I went into real estate as a realtor this time. Okay.
So that was your next step, was into being a real estate agent.
Yep.
Were you investing at this time when you became a real estate agent? Had you already started investing?
Yes, I was actually just in the process of closing on my third investment home.
Got it. Okay. Got it. How old were you when you got your first investment property?
24.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Listen, I know the name of this show is called Bold Real Estate Investing, but to invest at the age of 24 feels super bold to me. That's incredible.
Yeah, wow. I'll say when I figured out what I wanted, I went for it.
Yeah. Okay. So by the time you were getting your third property and you were getting into real estate as an agent, how old were you?
29.
Okay. Got it. All right, cool. So bring me to that time. So you now have your license, and talk to me about how you started to find your vision for how you wanted to be a real estate investor.
That came back in 2012.
Okay.
I was just starting to make, 60, 70, 80,000 a year. And I thought, sweet, this is awesome. But get to day one, January 1st, and it's like, well, everything starts over.
Starting over. Yeah.
All the same effort, all of that. And I was actually doing a soffit and fascia bid in our sister city, Mandan, North Dakota. And someone told me about the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I was like, okay, right. He didn't really sell it very well because he thought he knew better. But I just happened to be going to Germany, and I downloaded the book and I started reading, and it instantly just,
wow, yeah.
It just clicked. It was like, oh, this is what I want, because I never really knew what I wanted to do. There was no like dream job, dream position, dream house, it was just chilling on the beach. Not having to do anything was kind of the dream. And this book laid out the idea that, it doesn't have to be a dream job to get you where you want to be. It's actually, you got to focus on different things in life.
Right. Like investments, or like assets that could actually help you get the vision you want. Instead of having to work for it, you could actually have assets that give it to you. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it was the idea of, a paycheck, you get a pile of money. And
right.
If you spend your money, the pile decreases. But if you invest, you have money making more money, so that even as you spend it, it's still kicking off money.
Yeah, you said that before our call. You called that streams, from piles to streams.
Yep.
I liked that. It stood out in my mind, like from piles of money to streams of money.
That's the name of the game. I mean, that's what changed. All of a sudden, it was like, wait a second, I'm trying to get as big as paycheck as I want, for ego purposes, and to say, I made 20 grand this week, but it was like, well, but then it's gone, and it's like, well, if I start creating these streams, even if it's just $5 a month, 10, 20, $100 a month, well, that's $1,200 a year. And if I can do that every year, in 30 years, I have almost $42,000 coming in a month.
Wow. Right.
So when that clicked, it really narrowed down like what I want to do. Because then the job was just to help me build that investment.
It sounds like so then part of the aha moment for you was in figuring out, what do I really want? Like part of this was going, like, what do I really want? It's not just a job with more money. It's actually the end result of having a lifestyle of whatever that I don't have to actually work a job for.
Exactly.
So for other people listening to this that want to find their real estate vision, part of it is just deciding, what do you actually want?
Yes. You really have to know what lifestyle you want. Like for me, it was important to have control of my schedule because both my parents were working growing up, and I was in everything. I graduated high school with 28 letters, if you can believe that or not.
Wow. As I get to know you, I would believe that, because you seem like an overachiever and a hard worker.
Yes, I am both. So, I mean, I was in speech, one act play, drama, 4 different bands, sports. Wow. So there's just no way I think any parent could really keep up. But I knew when I have kids, I want to be able to go to their games and not say, I'm sorry, I'm working till 5:30 and I have to do this on the weekend. And
right.
So I knew I wanted that. And then I had a love of traveling. I was lucky enough to study in Ireland when I was a senior in college.
Wow.
And I mean, that changed my life. And I was like, I have to be able to travel. So I need a job that I can travel, that I can, control my own time schedule. Yeah. It's like, well, that sounds like retirement.
Yeah, right. I know. So I think that's part of the allure of real estate investing for people, is like this idea that if I invest in real estate and I have cash flow, I've got residual income that comes from rental properties and the compounding value of the actual equity in the real estate itself. Like, I think that's what draws us to the conversation of real estate investing. I've been interested in real estate investing ever since 2001 when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? I don't have any rental properties, but I think that's because there are a lot of things that come up for me in the way of like, oh, my life is busy, or, look, put whatever limiting belief you want. I don't know how to get financing. People listening to this have their own limiting belief for why they haven't gotten in the game, even though they, like me, may have been interested in it since 2001, right? Like I've been carrying that for 17 years.
Yeah. One of my blessings is that I'm an implementer or a developer. I read it, and I mean, we'll probably talk about this in a later podcast, but I was like, I need to find a duplex.
Right.
So the hunt began after that.
I love it. Okay, well, I want to make this actionable for people, right? Part of what we're talking about is how do we find our real estate investing vision individually?
Yep.
Because that's part of like what keeps us out of the game. Is real estate investing is this big swirly conversation of like so many options and so many things, and where do I start? What's my vision, right? So I kind of want to I want to see if you can put it into steps for me. Like, what are the steps that I could take to kind of make this more concrete for myself?
Absolutely. No. So very first thing, you've already done the first step.
Yeah.
Read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Right.
The reason for it is it changes your thinking on money, kind of like the attitude towards money. I grew up in an area where they're like, almost to the point where like being rich was a bad thing, kind of a play.
Yeah.
Or like the wealthy have something, whatever. And it was just getting that mindset out of my head. Like, hey, if you work hard and are smart with your money, you should be able to buy a nice car. You should be able to have an awesome house. Like, that's not a bad thing. Like, enjoy what you worked for. So read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then his next book, The Cash Flow Quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
Rich Dad tells you kind of how to think about money. The cash flow quadrant then breaks it down to what type of investor do I want to be, or an individual. Mm-hmm. And do I want to be an employee? Do I want to be a small business owner, a big business owner, or an investor?
Yeah.
And he lays out the pros and cons, and he really makes it so you can figure out, like, this is my style. I want to be that, self-employed person, or, I'd rather just be that investor and, give my money to people who are going to spend the time doing it, and I just get mailbox money.
Right.
So once you have those ideas,
yep.
Step one is read those books.
Okay.
But then once you have that, once you kind of know what you want, you have to do what your finances allow.
Yeah.
So go talk to your investment advisor.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, because I would have thought, like, okay, so then my next step is to talk to a mortgage banker or a broker, but you're actually saying talk to a financial planner or advisor.
Yes. For
Tell
a couple reasons. Now, to be honest with you, don't follow the order to a T. It's actually about just implementing it is the key.
Yeah.
Most people don't ever implement. But I would say that because, first of all, they'll kind of tell you, hey, you have cash here that you could spend, or hey, you have this 401k that we can actually pull money out of to make it a Roth, and then you can use that money to go invest with.
Got it.
So they'll kind of help you kind of smartly grab money. Because if you have cash in the bank, sweet, go ahead, have a heyday. But they'll tell you more so, like, hey, if we can use this money, and we can use money from here and money for that, and maybe this 3% that we're earning on this bond isn't really worth it, let's throw it here. Yeah. They'll help you give you a more global picture of your finances, because
versus a mortgage broker will just kind of come in and talk about whether you qualify for the loan or not, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the investment guy will hopefully be able to, or girl, will help you really see where you can draw the funds from, because they're all tax different, and that is a huge part of real estate.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, good point.
So once you talk to them, you kind of know what you can do. Either A, you can be a financer, or B, maybe you're more hands-on, your finances aren't that great. You know who to look for.
Right.
So I would say join an REI club or a cash flow club.
Yeah.
You can find them on meetup.com. You can just Google search REI clubs in your area.
Yeah. And
they're huge.
You have one where you are at. Where are you at?
Yep. So I'm in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Got it. And you have your own meetup REI club.
Yes. Okay. Yep. So I had to start my own because there wasn't one here. In fact, the closest one is in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Wow. Yeah.
So I started a cash flow club, which is Robert Kiyosaki again. He has a board game that's like Monopoly and Life put together.
Yeah, we have that game. We love that game.
Okay, awesome. Well, perfect. Yeah. So we actually get together and play it. But what happens is the people who show up, one of the first people, his name's Bart. He's awesome. He brings his son. His wife's a realtor, and they have 9 properties of their own. Wow. And so we're able to talk about, what we're seeing, what we're looking at, and we can compare notes. Some weeks we actually break down duplexes one week, and we break down different investment properties right there at the beginning of the meeting, so people can show up and say, hey, I'm looking at this house for an investment. Does it make sense? And here you have 3, 4, 5 opinions. I think that's one of the biggest things that I feel like I've learned over the years is that being in and around the conversation of the things you're trying to accomplish accelerate that in your life. Like, there's a lot of people who have thought about investing in real estate, and myself included, and we just kind of like keep it in the back of our mind, and we never actually go engage a community of other people who think the same way. And so, our dreams of real estate investing live a long and slow death in our mind, right? Versus if we were to actually ignite that in a conversation with others, it would happen a lot faster. So those of you listening to this, like, what an opportunity to go to find a meetup where you are. And there are lots of them. And like, for me, I didn't have those around me, so I had to start it. But it's as simple as going to meetup.com and creating your own meetup. Yeah. And just, hey, I'm getting together. I'm looking for even wanted ads, Craigslist. You'll find them, flippers. What's yours called in Bismarck? What's your meetup called? Mine is just called the Cash Flow Meetup. Okay. So if you're in Bismarck listening to this, the Cash Flow Meetup, go to meetup.com, look for the Cash Flow Meetup in Bismarck, and you'll Once every month.
Once a month? Cool. Awesome. Okay, got it. And so finally, the last strategy you had mentioned to me was identifying your strategy, or the last step was identify your strategy. So you've read the book, you've talked to a financial planner, advisor, you've gone to an REI club to get different ideas. And now it's time to pick the way you're going to do it.
Pick your niche.
Pick your niche. Yeah. I love that.
Yep. Because
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I'm saying we all have our different strengths.
Yeah.
I happened to be remodeling homes when I started, so I had 20 some crews to work with. So I had interior remodelers, exterior remodelers. I was just good at math, so I was naturally set up to flip homes, which ironically I never did per se.
That is ironic.
But I just was in that network, so I was able to find deals, and just that was my niche in essence, was rentals and that.
Right.
But if people don't have the time, but they have, let's say, the finances, the money, you're going to find people who have the time, are handymen, don't have the money. And that's where those clubs come in handy, because you'll kind of feel what the need is, and then you can.
Right. I think sort of like bringing this to a close, if I were somebody listening to this who had been thinking about real estate investing, my ears are already perked up listening to I want to do something. I feel like you've given some really good perspective, and where I would want to be going next is if I could just talk to Bill, because I don't know, I have a lot of ideas and I'd like to sort that out, but I'd rather talk to somebody. You seem very approachable and humble about it all. So you feel like a safe place to talk about my ideas. Where can people go to reach out to you, to connect with you?
All right. Well, the easiest will be my website.
Yeah.
So it's my name, Bill Dean, and then Homes, BillDeanHomes.com.
And that's not like building a home. It's like your name, Bill, Bill, Dean, Dean, Homes, BillDeanHomes.com. Yes?
Yep. And then right on there's my contact. Just click on the contact button, write me a little note, and we'll find a time, because I think I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours researching and learning and doing this stuff. And it's amazing what I think might be simple, might be brand new to you guys. And I definitely want to help as many people grow as I can.
Yeah, clearly in just the short amount of time we spent here, like your backstory and the amount of time and repetition you've had in the space of dealing with homes, whether it's remodeling them, selling security systems for them, investing them in yourself. Clearly you've got some insights for how we can start. So go to BillDeanHomes.com and you guys can click the contact button and reach out to Bill that way. Bill, any last minute advice on this first episode for how to find our real estate investing vision?
Too much to say.
Too much. No. Give us some sort of piece of wisdom.
You just have to get out there and talk to people about it. Because you'd be surprised how many people think about real estate investing and how many people know people doing it. But literally, if you go on Craigslist or in our area, it's BizMan Online, but you'll find these wanted ads looking for beat up houses, looking for fixer upper, looking for vacant land, looking for vacant home. These are people in the thick of it. Call them up. Don't be shy. You actually have to, get out of your comfort zone and talk to these people. And when you start doing that, you'll find out where they're having coffee. I mean, you just have to go and get engaged. Even if you don't know anything, but you're just curious, go check it out.
Yeah.
My accountant was one of the best people to talk to, because I just asked her, hey, I want to get into this. Well, she was working with 28 people who had invested in real estate their whole life. So she knew who to talk to and where to go. And
great tip. What an asset. Yeah.
Ask them, are you involved in real estate investing? Even realtors, same thing. Just ask the people around you that you already work with. They'll know someone.
I love it. That's so good, Bill. Awesome. Well, thanks for your time and your wisdom on episode 1. I'm looking forward to talking to you in episode 2, and we'll dive more into how do we kind of get our real estate investing off the ground. So, Bill, thanks so much. Catch you the next time.
All right. Thank you. See you later.